Leaving Islam, although it's a long and often difficult process, can come with a bright light at the end of the tunnel. Freedom, authenticity, and a more meaningful life are all among what ex-Muslims state to be the best consequences of leaving the faith. But when open as an ex-Muslim, there are also trade-offs for other difficulties. Relationships with family and loved ones may change or break altogether, and depending on where ex-Muslims live, threats from strangers and governments alike can make life difficult and even dangerous. So, what are the worst things about leaving Islam? Number 1. Threats and retribution.
Even on the hint of a rumor that someone said something, if you're in a Muslim majority country, you're putting yourself in danger.
Undoubtedly, the worst thing about leaving Islam is everyone else's reaction to it. These threats can come from family, strangers, or government agents. While some may allow for atheists to pass through as long as they feign compliance, others pose an immediate and often deadly threat. But even independent adults living in the US and Europe can find that safety is often fragile as an open ex-Muslim. Such was the case for one Somali-Norwegian atheist and women's advocate active in secular Somalian networks who received multiple death threats for her work and for her apostasy. While some families can be supportive, many times they are not. Sometimes those closest to ex-Muslims are the first ones to punish them when coming out. Such was the case for 15-year-old Ahmed Shervan, whose father's reaction to him coming out as an atheist was to report him to the police, who in turn arrested Ahmed in the middle of the night, and policemen hit him with belts, kicked him with jackboots, and tortured him with electric shocks, in his words. The stress of concealment. Freeing yourself from religion may feel like a victory, but not everyone will see it that way. For their own mental and sometimes physical safety, ex-Muslims often have to go to great lengths to hide their true beliefs. Maybe they're still living with their parents and coming out could make their living situation unsafe or compromise it altogether. Even in a situation that's physically safe, ex-Muslims can feel pressured to choose between authenticity and potential alienation. A top reason many force themselves into the closet in the first place is fear of losing friends.
When I left religion, when I left Islam, they would guilt trip me, and the way their attitude towards me left me with extreme depression for years.
This precarious balancing act, lying to friends and family, compounds into stress that takes a heavy mental toll. Becoming alienated from community. Even when people start to question the faith, the idea of fully leaving Islam is daunting because it can mean being severed from one's foundational community. Even if beliefs change, religious communities are a place of solidarity, ritual, and belonging, especially for ethnic minorities. After coming out, ex-Muslims often find themselves isolated or outright ostracized from their family, friends, or the Muslim community as a whole. The loss of marriage and custody. Apostasy is believed to taint not just the individual, but everyone around them. When a Muslim leaves the faith, that is considered not just personal failing, but a slight against one's own community. Exacerbating the loneliness of apostasy alone, ex-Muslims can find themselves literally and legally abandoned. According to religious law, if an ex-Muslim's apostasy is discovered, they may have their marriage annulled, or their spouse may leave them. The ex-Muslim parent, male or female, also loses all claim to their children.
You don't leave an apostate mother with her children. There's no question of that nowhere, anywhere in Islam. It's death or exile.
My inability to accept Islam eventually resulted in my wife leaving me and taking our young child away from me and moving to a different country.
So, the worst things about leaving Islam? They have less to do with how great Islam was, and more with the unfriendly, often hostile environment around them after they choose to leave. Despite this, many ex-Muslims are able to live happy and fulfilled lives after coming out. But for all too many, this still isn't the case. And until it is, we can't stop fighting for their rights and dignity.